And we're back for another episode. In this episode, we're going to be carrying on the main story in Final Fantasy XIV expansion Endwalker. And as always, hello from Mithrie. So we are here in Favner at 11:21, and we need to talk to Thancred. So the quest is called the Satrap of Radz-at-Han. Thancred is wearing a grim expression. First, we must inform everyone of the situation, Nidhana's colleagues included. I'll call them together for a gathering, but I think it would be best if you were the one to explain. Mic drop, walk away. Oh, Nidhana. Can you answer me this? Though Nidhana is trapped in the tower, she's still alive, yes? Then we must make warding scales, as many as we can. The prototype works perfectly. This Nidhana proved that peril to herself. So let us make more scales, that she and all those who were taken might be saved. Aye, as alchemists, this is how we will help win the fight. My friends, the Satrap has been made aware of the tragedy. He offers his heartfelt condolences and reiterates his pledge to provide you with all that you require. To that end, he bade me give you this link pearl, that he might personally discuss the production of the warding scales with you. And for our Eorzean visitors, I bear an invitation. In her report, Mistress Nidhana noted your vital contributions to the talisman's creation. This fact came to the Satrap's attention, and in recognition of your deeds, he wishes to meet you. In addition to thanking you in person, he would also discuss further avenues of collaboration. And so, if it is agreeable, you will not accompany me at Radz-at-Han for an audience with His Excellency? Will you not accompany me? I know how to read. We should be honoured, of course. Closer cooperation between our lands can only be to the benefit of all. Then it is settled. Please come to the gates east of the Giant School grounds, and I will show you into the city. Alright, I think that is actually, yeah, it's quite a trek, so let's go to Radz-at-Han. Okay, so we caught up with Varshan, so let's talk to him. All present, then let us proceed. Owing to the threat of the tower, the city is currently in a high state of alert. These strict restrictions are in place for entry. Though you have been granted special permission, I ask that you remain close to me at all times.
A vast rock squats upon Favner, and to its stony surface clings the city of Radz-at-Han. Ye who enter here are subject to the scrutiny of gods, the gate's most watchful eye. The orb which beholdeth the truth of all things. Pass beneath its hot and piercing gaze, bearing down like a second midday sun. The fragrant haze, a mixture of sweet incense and acrid smoke. The cries of merchants mingled here with lively melodies accented by dancers' feet. Travelers seduced by vivid sound and colors were once swallowed up by patchwork streets.
Radz-at-Han. Nice.
But no such scenes to savor now. To what somber present does that divine eye bear witness?
Here we are, Megadota. It seems a shame to bring you here directly. Under normal circumstances, it would have been my pleasure to show you the sights.
And it would have been our pleasure to see them. Alas, it seems our tour of the city will have to wait.
I'm afraid so. Come, we should head inside. Your Excellency, may I present our honored visitors?
Ah, splendid. Most splendid. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Ahawan, Satrap of Radz-at-Han. Our alchemists tell me your assistance was invaluable in the creation of the warding scale. Such deeds ought to be recognized in person. Thus did I have young Varshan convey you here forthwith. On behalf of my people, may I express to you our sincere gratitude.
Nithana, she was taken.
A regrettable incident indeed. Her colleagues insist that we honor her wishes and trust in the talisman, that it will be instrumental in saving Nidana and the others. I am eager to hear your opinion on the matter, so let us not stand on ceremony. Come, sit.
I think not.
Uh-oh.
This charade has gone on long enough. Show yourself.
Forgive me, but were you expecting musicians, perhaps? There are no performers waiting in the wings at present, but arrangements could be made if you'd prefer.
Nay, he hath the right of it. The time for artifice is past. Raise the curtain.
As you wish.
Oh, he's not actually the satrap.
You travel as assistants to the students of Valdesian, but you are known to me. Even here have we heard of the scions of the Seventh Dawn.
Interesting.
I am Vritra, and for years uncounted hath this isle served as mine abode.
Estenian could probably smell him.
Of the first brood, sibling to Hraesvelga and Nidhogg.
Aye, mine elder brothers, of Midgard's Sorma's spawn, I was last to hatch.
Well, isn't this a surprise? We were told Radz-at-Han had an alliance with the dragon. Not that a great worm sat in the Satrap's own hall.
A necessary subterfuge, as the true tale of our nation history illustrates most effectively. In the beginning, the rock upon which our city is built was home to Vitra, and Vitra alone. In time, the ancestors of the Matanga came to the island and established a foothold. But never did they dare disturb the worm's lair. Next to arrive were the Aura. Adopting the example of their Akasodra allies, they too treated Vitra with reverence and respect. And for many years, an understanding between our forefathers and the Great Worm endured. Until marauding heroes from the mainland came, threatening to shatter our peace and tranquility. When it seemed all would be drowned in blood, Vitra himself came forth and quelled the rising conflict. A peaceful accord was reached, and oaths sworn in Vitra's name. Thus began the dragon's governance of the fledgling state, which was to grow into Radz-at-Han.
But if Vitra is still here, then your position as Satrap is just...
A charade, yes. And one which my family has performed faithfully for generations.
Many envy the great worms their power. Were it known that I ruled here, then the fires of war would burn without end. I would not be the flame which consumeth my people. Those few who join me in laying our country's foundations were, perforce, sworn to secrecy.
Your eye. It was taken.
"'Tis here, buried within the semblance of flesh. The body before thee is but a simulacrum, constructed by the finest artisans of Radz-at-Han. With mine eye nestled within, it doth serve as an inconspicuous vessel for my will."
That would explain why I felt the presence of a dragon upon our first meeting.
I am woven with words fashioned to deceive such arcane senses. Though 'twas short-lived, it seemeth thy fusion with my brother hath left thee much altered, Estinian warm blood. From the very first, we sensed the nature of one another, yet did neither one of us bare his fangs. That is all I need know of thee for now.
With my secret thus revealed, I have for you a proposal. Not as a worm of the first brood, but as the ruler of Radz-at-Han. With all haste must we take in hand the finished talismans and breach this foul spire. Thence, should it lay within our power, dispel its wicked influence. Yet even with the assurance of the warding scales, the narrow confines of the tower doth limit the size of our force.
And thus denied strength in numbers, thou must choose thy soldiers with care.
Just so. Yet though our radiant host is formidable, I see a surer path before me. Thou and thy comrades have contended with a multitude of primal beings. Most recently, thou didst cast down false gods in Pagalthan and Cartanau, I am told. 'Tis upon that strength I would call. The Scions have proven themselves the most capable, and I ask that you serve as the tip of our spears. talismans would, of course, be provided for each of thy companions. And should you agree to this undertaking, more will be provided to make use of as you see fit.
There's no denying it's a dangerous proposition, but the rewards may far outweigh the risk. Just think of what we might accomplish if we could equip all our allies with warding scales. I worry, however, that even the 4 of us may be too few for what you have in mind. Might we regroup with our friends first to discuss the matter?
'Tis no trifling task that I have laid before you. Go. Steel your hearts and hone your plans. Such time as you require shall be spent in crafting your protective charms.
It seems a quick trip back to Sharlayan is in order.
Wilt thou not lend thine aid?
Whether your request be made as a great worm or the ruler of Radz-at-Han, I see no reason to refuse, nor will I.
Very good.
I am in thy debt.
Cool. So let's talk to Thancred. So that meeting took a rather unexpected turn, but we now have a clear objective ahead of us. Let's rejoin our comrades in Sharlayan and muster a suitable crew for our foray into the Tower of Zot. Oh, and if you haven't already done so, be sure to attune to the Aephorite here before departing, unless, of course, you enjoy violent nausea. Makes sense. It's a good idea. Alrighty, so let me attune to the Aephorite, and then let's go back to Sharlayan. Okay, so we made it back to the main hall, so let's talk to Thancred. So just as I was getting used to balmy Favnir, we're back in chilly Sharlayan. Take care not to catch your death, eh? We need you for the battles to come. Now then, everyone appears to be here, so let us take stock of all the developments and discoveries. Cool. But let's talk to Kryl. The quest is called In the Dark of the Tower. Kryl glances at you with expectant eyes. Since there have been progresses in both investigations, shall we share the findings from our respective locales?
Your time in Thafnir has certainly been eventful. In my opinion, carrying out Vitra's request and assaulting the Tower of Zot should be our highest priority.
I agree. While I still have questions concerning the Forum and their grand undertaking, we have all but exhausted our avenues of investigation. Simply pressing them any harder on the subject will almost certainly result in our expulsion. Therefore, I suggest we explore the Ethereal Sea connection by way of a letter to Master Matoya, then make our way to Thafnir.
I wonder, even with the protection these talismans afford us, what can we hope to achieve once inside the tower? According to Orenvold and Fodola's report, they were unable to free the Emolja. Worse, their attempts triggered the tower's defenses, which led to a summoning of Luna Ifrit.
What does it tell us that the Spires even have such defenses? Simply pulling a prisoner from the wall is fatal, thus the direct approach is doomed to failure from the outset. Any further measures to dissuade such actions seem unnecessary. Unless, of course, there is a way to free the prisoners without killing them. Then it stands to reason that any intruders will be met with overwhelming force.
The towers appeared throughout the world in but the twinkling of an eye. 'Twas by magical means these structures were raised, I surmise. A spire thus conjured must needs be maintained, and I suspect an arcane catalyst, some manner of core, doth lie hidden within. Destroy the core, and the tower ceaseth to be, thus liberating the captives without harm.
So we can hope. And I would prefer to enter the tower with a working theory than with no plan at all.
Assuming Ishtola's reasoning is correct, the chances of the defenses remaining dormant are small to none. Any primals will have to be dealt with, and defeating one will likely only lead to the summoning of another. Our every victory will only compound the prisoner's suffering.
May we not then divide our forces? Those proficient in healing will focus on sustaining the captives. That duty can be covered by Urianger, Kryl, Yostela, and myself. The remaining scions will proceed with the search for the core. Admittedly, this strategy puts both parties at greater risk, but it should bolster our chances of saving the Arcosodora by a considerable margin.
Are you sure Alpha Node is in the right group? What of Elise? She knows a healing spell or two.
That she does. But I think Alize herself would assert that she's at her best when she's charging onto the breach. And from what I recall from the Grand Cosmos, there's a spring in her step when she fights by your side.
Ye gods, will you never let me hear the end of that? Rest assured that I will do what is asked of me, regardless of who I happen to be standing next to at any given time. It seems we have a plan. All that remains is to carry it out. I will inform Radz-at-Han of our movements, so let us make our preparations and regroup near the tower.
The military post in what's left of the Hamsa hatchery should serve as a convenient staging point.
That sounds perfect. And remember, the experimental aetherite at the confluence is there for those who need it, so there's no excuse for being late.
Okay, so we need to teleport back all the way over there. So once we get there, we will continue. Okay, so we've made it. So let's talk to this guy. So, our friend of yours here. We've been expecting you. You and yours will lead the mission into the tower, I'm told. The warning scales will be delivered soon. Till then, please stand by at the boat and we are readied. When your fellows arrive, I will direct them to join you. We pray for your safety and success. Cool. And let's go straight to the boat. We'll see if we unlock the first dungeon. So, if this is the future of a fair aetherite travel, I think I'll stick to boats. Alright, no warning, however empathetic could have prepared me for that. On account of which, we are a little late, but fighting fit mostly. My friends, permit me to thank you for accepting this mission. You must be... we should still call you Varshan, I suppose? Indeed, it would not do to confuse our soldiers. Very well then. For our part, we are humbled that you should see fit to entrust us with your warding scales. Please convey as much to His Excellency. One for each of you. Please accept them with my blessing. Oh, thanks. With these, we can go anywhere. Those with the blessing of light can go. Not only for this operation either, but all the ones to come. We can finally break your monopoly on primals. I've been waiting for this day. I wouldn't mind carrying on as before, you know. In that case, they're all yours from now on. So have we, my friend, so have we. If everyone is amenable to it, let us review the strategy for good measure. As previously agreed, we will divide into 2 groups. Mithrie and her band will break through the tower's defenses and locate its core. Meanwhile, the rest of us will tend to the prisoners, who will doubtless want for healing due to the duress of repeated summonings. The primals which the tower bringeth forth shall be deities of Darnarian myth. We have no prior experience with such foes. Pray exercise the utmost caution when confronting them. We commence the operation at your word, my friend. For the people of Favnir, nay, the entire world, we must prevail. Cool. So the Tower of Zot is now accessible. And it's been added to the duty finder. Alrighty. So, yeah. So in the next episode, we'll hopefully do this dungeon. So, anyway, guys, that's it for this episode. Thank you for watching, and as always, goodbye from me, and goodbye from Mithrie. Bye, guys.